Thank you for your willingness to help me gather this data for the research project I'm working on. The objective of this exercise is to determine the basis used by firms to assign sales to geographic locations. You should have received a link to a spreadsheet, a Google Doc spreadsheet. When you click on that link, it will take you to a sheet that looks much like the one that you see on your screen now. You'll notice that the first 6 or 7 columns have gray stripes going through them. That's because those columns have been protected so that the integrity of the data will not be compromised in this data collection phase. If you scroll to the right, you'll see that the last 2 columns are not protected, and this is where you will enter the data that you collect. The data collection takes place in 3 relatively simple steps. The first step is to identify the segment footnote in the firm's financial statements found in the firm's annual report. You'll notice that there's a link in each row. If you click on one of these links, say this one, it will bring up a little hyperlink which you can click on, and that will take you to the Securities and Exchange Commission website. Once you get to the website, you'll notice a number of links. The primary link is usually the one that says Form 10K, and these other links are exhibits that are associated with Form 10K. Most of the most of the observations in this spreadsheet you'll be able to populate by clicking on the first link, which is Form 10K. So I'll click there, and now I've come to Form 10K for Ampco Pittsburgh Corporation. The rest of the first step, as you recall, is to identify the segment footnote. The easiest way I've found to do this is to do a Control F and look for the word geographic. You'll notice that in this case, found 3 instances of the word geographic. If I click through those, I see that they take me to quite different places in the financial statement in this report. This last one happens to be the one that's in the financial statement footnotes. I can determine that by scrolling up just a little bit, and I notice that it says Note 19. Above that is Note 18. And if I keep scrolling up, I will eventually get to the point where we see that we find Note 1, and right above Note 1 it says Notes to the Consolidated Financial Statements. So I know that that third hit is in the right place. Now once I have found the segment footnote in the financial statements, I can move to step 2. Step 2 is to read this footnote and try to determine if there is a disclosure by the firm that identifies the basis of geographic sales. And so if I scroll down to this part that talks about the geographic areas of net sales, I see that there are United States and foreign. And I see these little footnotes that are in these areas. If I look at net sales number 3, and I come down here and read it, it says net sales are attributed to countries based on the location of the customer. In other words, sales are assigned to different geographic units in this company, not based on where the company is located, but based upon where the customer is located. That's the information we're trying to collect. Once you've identified that information, you can move to step 3, which is to record the data. The first thing I'll do is I'll copy that little sentence which has the information I need. I'll return to my spreadsheet, and in the text column, I will paste that sentence. Then I will click on this drop-down menu, and there will be 5 options you can choose from. Those 5 options are destination, origin, other, uncertain, and no discussion. We'll talk about those in detail in a few minutes, but for now I'll click on destination. Destination meaning that the sales are allocated or attributed to countries based on the destination of the thing I'm selling, or in other words, the location of the customer. Okay, let's try another example. If I go here, again I come to this place, and this is a new company. I'm going to click on Form 10K, and I find that this is Alcoa. Okay, Again, what I need to do in the first step is to identify the segment footnote. I'm going to do a Control F for geographic. I see that there are 9 hits. And one of the tricks I've found is that the segment footnote is usually towards the end of the document, not at the beginning. So if I actually do this in reverse order, I'll probably get there more quickly. And here I see that it's talking about geographic information for long-lived assets. If I go up one more, I see that it's talking about geographic information for sales. That's what I want, but I need to confirm that I'm actually in the segment footnote. So I'll scroll up just a little bit more, and what I see is Q, segment and geographic area information. This company happens to record its segment footnotes using letters as opposed to numbers, but if I scroll up to the top and follow these, I will find that I will be in the notes to the consolidated financial statements, and they begin with A. So I'll go back down here to footnote number, the footnote where I was, and this is the geographic information for sales, and here's what it says. Geographic information for sales was as follows, based upon the country where the point of sale occurred. So I'm going to copy that. That's the information I need. I'll return to my spreadsheet. I'll paste that text here, and now I need to choose an option. Well, destination would be where the customer was located. In this case, I'll click origin because it was based upon the country where the point of sale was, or in other words, the origin of the sale. Let's try another one. Open it up, and first step is to identify the segment footnote. So again, I'll do a Control F on geographic. I'll probably search in reverse order, and here I come right to footnote number 12, geographic information. And here it says the company has attributed the following geographic area net revenue and long-lived assets based upon the physical location of operations centers. Okay, so that's what I want to know. I'm going to copy that. I'll paste that here. And in this case, it's clearly not destination because the operations centers may or may not be where the customer is located. The operations centers also may or may not be where the sale originated from, because there could be some selling entity that does that. So in this case, I'll put other. Okay, now to continue with our example, let's try a different one. I'm going to scroll way down. I've checked this one out, and I think it might be one that's somewhat interesting. Okay, so what I'll do is let's try this one here. If I go to this company, okay, let's search on Form 10K. In this case, you'll notice it's actually called Form 10K 405. Some companies have 10K 405 and others just 10K. It's the same thing, so you're fine just going to 10K 405. Do a Control F on geographic. We have 5 hits. We'll search in the reverse order. Here it says geographic information for the years ended is right here. It's reported. And I'm not seeing a whole lot, but I do see that there are these little footnotes again. So I'll come down and I'll read the footnotes. Sales within the United States include export sales, and sales outside of the United States include sales from foreign subsidiaries to the United States. That's the information that I need. So let's copy that information, and I'm going to show you something that happens. You'll notice that the formatting on this particular file seems a little bit older. It has HTML tags and different things in it. Some of the older filings can give you a little more trouble when you copy and paste, and I'll show you what I mean. When I copy that and I come over here and paste it in the text, you'll see that it went into 2 cells. I want to be careful that that doesn't happen, because if it does happen, I could end up attributing this second row to the wrong company. So I'll undo that, and I'll be more cautious to, when I copy that in, to copy and make sure I don't capture those line breaks. Well, let's try that really quickly. Paste that in. I'm just going to go back and just paste at different times. Okay, and then I'm also going to capture that second footnote because that seemed to be relevant too. It's talking about what the sales, whoops, something didn't quite work right there. Let's try that again. And last one. Okay, now I've pasted in the information that is relevant. Now the question is, where should these sales be attributed? Well, if I look at my options, I have destination, origin, other, uncertain, or no discussion. Clearly there's a discussion about how the sales work, so that can't be the option. It could be destination or origin. It's probably could even be other. This one is a fairly complicated one. Because I have read lots of these and I do a lot of research in this area, I'm quite certain that this one actually is based on the location of the customer. That's why some of the U.S. Sales include export sales because the customer is in a foreign country, and some of the foreign subsidiary sales include U.S. customers because those entities might be selling to customers within the United States. If I knew that and I was comfortable with that, I would indeed write destination. But if you haven't come across many of these and you believe that without expertise you're not comfortable in making a determination, you could go ahead and put uncertain. I will be going through this, and anything that says uncertain, I will read the text that you have pasted over here to the right, and I will make a determination at a later point in time. But please try not to use uncertain unless you're quite confused about what it might mean and you think there's a real possibility that if I read what you have pasted, I'll be able to make a determination. Okay, let's try one more. Let's scroll back up here to the top and we'll do row number 30. And here I'll see the 10K and I'll click on it. I'll do a Control F, geographic, and I notice that I only get one hit. And this does not appear to be in the footnotes to the financial statements. I could also try segments, and I notice that I get 18 hits. But if I scroll down through these, none of these hits seem to actually be part of the financial statement footnotes. In fact, if I really look carefully here, I'll notice that the financial statements don't appear in this part of the report. That's because sometimes companies actually don't report it in their 10K, they report it as a reference in a different exhibit. And so here I can see in Exhibit 13 they're going to do the annual report. So if I go back here and I look, there's Exhibit 13, I'll click on that. Now I'll search for geographic, and what I find is the segment information comes up right away. I scroll down and I have found the geographic areas, and this is what I'm looking for. I won't ask you to read this, but if you read this entire note 18 from there down to where 19 begins, which should be I think somewhere here soon, or maybe 18 is the last note in this company, it appears. So if you read all of footnote 18 down to the report of the independent auditors, you'll discover that this company never actually identifies the basis of the sales distribution. It says it's sales to external customers, but it does not say where those customers are located. So in this case, I'll come back here to record the data. I will click on the option that says no discussion, and there will be nothing to paste because there was no information available. Okay, so that's how it goes. Step 1, identify the financial statement footnote that contains information on segments, which, as we just saw here, will in most cases be in 10K, but in some cases will be in Exhibit 13, usually labeled EX13. Second step is, once you've found the financial statements, look for the footnote, and once you have found the footnote, make sure that you can identify or look for the data that identifies how the geographic sales were sold. In some cases, as in this last case, you will not be able to find any information about how those geographic sales are split across jurisdictions, and in that case, we know how you would record those. Okay? Now, because there's lots of different examples, or lots of different ways that companies can write this, I have included a tab that is called examples. These are actual sentences from financial statement footnotes that you can refer to that I have classified as either a destination, as an origin, as an other, an uncertain, or a no discussion. Okay? I prefer that you try to use uncertain as seldom as possible, but if there's something you're genuinely uncertain about, please put it there. If it's clear that the method of distributing sales is, or attributing sales is based on something other than origin or destination, please put it in other. If there's no discussion, or if the discussion really doesn't say anything meaningful, like these three examples, please put no discussion. I'm sure that as you do this, you'll have many questions. And if you come across things or notice patterns that it might be helpful if others who are engaged in the same project were aware of, please email me or call me, or you could also just stop by my office and I'd be happy to talk with you. Thank you so much for your willingness to help. I look forward to hearing from you as questions arise, and I look forward to looking at the data that you collect. Thank you very, very, very much.